See everybody here, the last session of the evening. So I am Mike Dineen with Tioga Cardiovascular. We do a transcatheter mitral valve replacement device, which I'm really excited to show you. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about mitral regurgitation, which is our disease state. And it's actually the most common heart valve problem. And what it is just insufficiency of the mitral valve, which means a leak in the mitral valve. So normally, when your heart beats, the mitral valve should close and the blood should go forward out into your body. But if you have mitral regurgitation, it goes backwards and it ends up in your lungs, causing shortness of breath, exercise intolerance, et cetera. There's a clinical ranking of mitral regurgitation from 0 meaning none to 4 being very severe. And there's really two different types of mitral regurgitation. Some is due to a problem with the valve itself or a cut in the valve itself, or due to or secondary to heart failure. And both of them are actually very severe forms of disease that need to be treated and are undertreated today. So as I mentioned before, it's the largest heart valve problem. Edwards Life Sciences, which is just down the road, was largely built on aortic stenosis, and this market is roughly 3 to 4 times the size of the aortic stenosis market, just to give you a perspective, which is one of the reasons why Edwards is so focused on mitral therapies being part of their next generation for the company. So today, the surgical mitral valve treatments are really limited. There are surgical options, but because they're very invasive, they're not utilized very frequently. And there are repair options and replacement options on the surgical side. More recently, within the last 10 or so years, some minimally invasive catheter-based approaches have become available on the market. The only one of which that is currently available in the United States is TEER, or transcatheter edge-to-edge repair. And there are two types of TEER. It's the MitraClip and the Pascal device that you may have heard of. Other than that, there's no replacement devices that are transcatheter-based available in the United States. So really, what is the clinical need here? Because there are a number of companies chasing transcatheter mitral valve replacement. I will say that the biggest issue today with this market is that with what we call screen failures. So for every 10 patients that are referred to our competitors, Abbott, Edwards, and Medtronic, 80 to 90% of them are rejected. And they're rejected because of physical limitations to the valve and the size of their valve. So, and then we also have the, limitations on the repair side as well, which the MitraClip and the Pascal system can't treat certain types of mitral valve pathologies. So our system, the Tioga Luna system, is the first device that actually has a very low screen failure rate and can treat all the mitral pathologies. So here's an animation of our procedure. The first step that we do is we introduce a series of catheters into the left atrium, and we deploy something called an anchor control catheter, which is the device in the blue. And we push that below the beating mitral valve and extend the tip. And then we rotate it clockwise to encircle the chordae. And the chordae are the pieces of connective tissue that hold the valve together. And then once we do the encircling procedure, we remove the catheter, leaving behind an anchor. And then we come in a second step, and we put a guide wire through, and then we deploy our valve and use the outflow of the valve to pull the anchor up high, and then the valve is implanted. So it's a very simple valve implantation procedure. So our delivery systems also, because it's all about the delivery system in a transcatheter system, are the smallest delivery systems that are available in any of the devices currently in clinical studies. We have 2 systems, an anchor delivery system, which you see on the left, comprised of 3 catheters, and then a valve delivery system on the right. And these are very standard catheter setups used in structural heart. Our implant system, there's 2 parts to our implant system, as I mentioned before. First is the anchor, and the anchor is a nitinol covered with PTFE. The anchor, incidentally, actually is serving as a repair option, because I'll show you some of the in a bit. It actually decreases MR on its own. And then the valve. The valve is also made out of nitinol. It's very, very short, which is the design element that allows us to have the low screen fail rate. And it also has a very large brim. So this gives us a lot of flexibility to introduce the device into a lot of different anatomies and to minimize the screen failures. So we are currently a clinical stage company. We've done 4 patients and just started last year. We did our first cases. That's the team that did the first implantations in the Republic of Georgia. I'm going to show you a few slides here. So on the left, what you see is the baseline and how severe the MR is. And so what you're looking at is a Doppler echo, which shows the flow of the blood going backwards. So at the top of that image, you can see the blood going backwards into the left atrium. And then on the right is after the first stage of our procedure. So this is after the anchor only. And you can see that the MR has already decreased quite a bit. And then the next stage of our procedure is to implant the valve. And on the left, you see the final images of the valve implantation, and in the middle, you see an X-ray version of the valve, and then on the right, it actually doesn't render properly. I don't know why, but you basically see a wide open LVOT and a very nice flow dynamic. We have a great management team. Besides myself, we have leaders from Medtronic, from Boston Scientific, and others. Our advisory board is fantastic. They're the top interventional cardiologists really in the world, Azim Latib and Sushil Kadali in New York City, Rahul Sharma at Stanford, and then Vinny Bapat is our cardiac surgeon at Abbott Northwestern. We do have 34 employees. We're a Shifa-Med company, just like the previous two companies. We've raised $89 million to date, and we're raising another $25 million in a Series D. So for the $25 million Series D raise that we're looking to raise, we want to continue to enroll more patients and get up to about 30 to 40 patients with the next series, and secure our US EFS IDE approval as well as enroll patients on that, and then complete our pre-sub with the FDA for our pivotal trial. So in short, I think Tioga is a really unique opportunity. It's a massive market opportunity, completely underserved. This is a really evolving field with a lot of new technology being introduced continually. We've got a great set of advisors, and the product is working fantastically well. All 4 of our patients are doing extremely well and actually are enjoying an improved quality of life. And it's a really differentiated therapy and technology. So with that, I will end it and say thank you very much.